Am I the asshole for not wanting to tell my mother-in-law the gender of my unborn child? I am a 27-year-old woman, and I've been married to my husband, who is 28, for 2 years. I'm currently 22 weeks pregnant with our first child. We decided we wanted to keep the gender a surprise, as it did not matter to us, and we would be happy either way. The issue, however, is my mother-in-law. There is a slight cultural divide here. I am Caucasian, while she and my father-in-law are Chinese. My husband is their only child and was born here a few years after they immigrated. I am the youngest of 6 girls. Seriously, I have no idea how my parents did not kill us growing up. LOL. And my mother-in-law and father-in-law never miss a chance to talk about what a shame it is that my parents never had a boy. They say that having so many girls clearly shows my parents are unlucky, while bragging about the fact that they had a son on their first try. This gets to me, but I have heard it a million times before, so I mostly ignore it. When we were just dating, my then boyfriend, now husband, explained it was just a cultural point of view for them to see male children as the goal. To give him credit, he always shut them down when the conversation started down that path, though they always end up bringing it up another time. Now that I am pregnant, she is pressuring us to tell her the gender. She was not happy when she found out we wanted it to be a secret, and actually cried over us keeping such important information from her. She insists it is important we know the gender of the baby. I will not lie, I have a slight fear about how she will react if it is a girl, based on her comments about me and my sisters in the past. My father-in-law, meanwhile, is backing up my mother-in-law and scolding my husband constantly for upsetting his mother like this. I know he hates upsetting them and is starting to cave from the pressure. I really do not want to tell her until the baby is here, but I feel like an asshole as I know it is getting to my husband. He has not once complained and is always shielding me from their scolding in this, but I can tell it is getting to him. I'm beginning to wonder if I should just cave and find out to tell them so they will stop putting pressure on us and deal with the issues that could arise later if it is a girl. However, I hate that I'm being pushed to this choice. Am I the asshole? Edit. So, my mother-in-law and father-in-law came around this morning for tea, uninvited, as usual, of course, and began to apply their pressure again to demand the gender of the baby. I was ready to step in, worried about my husband, as I know this has been a lot of pressure for him, but he surprised me by snapping at them. I have never seen him truly angry with them before. The only time I have ever heard of him being truly angry is when he fought them over dating me when they did not approve as I was not Chinese. But I was not there for that conversation, so this took me by surprise. To summarize, he told them that our child's gender was none of their business, and if they kept this up, then any future sons we have will take my maiden name, since I have no brothers to carry on the family name, as they keep reminding me. He then told them to not test him, as he will burn their family tree to the ground. I do not know who was more shocked, them or me. He then told them to get out, and they did leave, though my father-in-law scolded him for being disrespectful and not putting family first. So, it seems my concern was unwarranted, and my husband is fine. Reddit verdict. Not the asshole. Top comments. Comment. Not the asshole. They are trying to wear you down to get what they want. I'm sure it is really tough, but do not give in to them. If you do, this will be the pattern for the rest of your lives. I really cannot wrap my brain around people who act like them. It is not their baby and not their decision. And if I understand correctly, it is not like you are withholding information. You and your husband don't even know. Answer. I agree. It will reinforce the idea to the in-laws that they can just wear her and the husband down enough for them to cave. It is a very common Asian parenting tactic, and my Asian parents are the same. For Asians, everything is a family matter. Older Asian adults always need to have a say over everything, from what you eat, what you dress as, who you date, why you were out after 6 in the evening, and so on. It's the toxic family-centric culture at play. Not the asshole for the original poster. Tell them that they are disappointing their son by thinking that he will not be able to produce a son of his own. Author. That is a good line that I may very well steal. Honestly, you are absolutely right about it being a common parenting tactic used by Asian parents, as everything you have said I have seen firsthand. They hated him dating me because I was not Chinese at first, then doubly hated it when they learned I was one of 6 girls. He eventually got them to back off on this matter. I don't know exactly what he said as I was not present for that conversation, but I believe it was a threat about it being me or no one at all. He ended up staying with me for a week after that and going zero contact with them to show he was serious. Comment. As a grandmother of someone like your mother-in-law, I was born before ultrasounds were a normal thing. Only the very rich could afford it. My paternal grandmother came when I was born, made a very sarcastic comment about my lack of correct genitalia when she carried me, and left. My mother never really got over that, and my relationship with my mother has been difficult since day one. Be prepared for the nasty comments, shaming, and blaming if you have a girl. This is something you need to talk through with your husband, as he will need to manage them even if the baby turns out to be a boy. Hugs, and wishing you and your baby a safe, happy pregnancy and delivery. Update. Hello everyone. 3 years ago, I made a post about my first pregnancy on Am I the Asshole, relating to the fact that my Chinese mother-in-law was pushing to know the gender of my unborn child. I am now 19 weeks pregnant with my second child, a bit of an unplanned surprise, as we had planned to wait until our daughter was a little older to have a second child, but it was not an unhappy surprise. This pregnancy has caused me to reflect on my first one, and I remembered my post. I went hunting for it and luckily remembered my password. I doubt anyone here cares much, but I am in a reflecting mood, so I thought I would post an update 3 years on, and if anyone wants to read it, then I hope you enjoy. Yes, my husband and I had a little girl. It has been incredible watching him grow from the amazing man I love into an amazing father, and she is very clearly the greatest joy in his life. We had a long conversation not long after she was born, and he actually ended up going to therapy to reconcile his feelings about his parents and his culture. He originally did not want her to know any language but English and basically to ignore his side of the culture, but he eventually realized, thanks to therapy, that he was robbing her of a chance to have a more diverse view of the world, and his experiences with his culture may not be hers. Through our daughter, he has gotten to see his culture through a fresh set of eyes, and it's like he's discovering it himself for the first time. My mother-in-law and father-in-law, as you no doubt expect, were not happy that we had a daughter and began to push us to try again to have a son almost immediately. My husband and they began to clash more and more as their behavior became abusive towards me and our daughter, and 2 years ago, we cut contact with them. We are happier for it and do not live in fear that they will drop by without warning and turn our whole day upside down. Rereading some of the old comments on my original post makes me smile, and my husband is laughing over how many of them were thirsting over him after he clashed with his parents originally. Thank you, everyone. I hope you all have a wonderful day and enjoy my rambled reflection on the past 3 years.
Write what you think about this situation. Who did the right thing, and who is the asshole? Let's discuss it in the comments. In the meantime, let's move on to the next story.
Am I the asshole for refusing to go to the family reunion my mother is planning because they disowned me and refused to apologize? I, a 19-year-old male, am gay, and when my family found out about this, they kicked me out of the house. I ended up moving in with my friend and lived with him for 2 years until I got a job and found my own apartment with help from his family. The entire time I was living there, my parents did not check up on me or even bother to ask if I was all right. It was like that until I moved out of my friend's house. When my parents found out I was living on my own, my mother sent me a message on Facebook asking to meet up so we could reconnect. Before I was disowned, I had a very close relationship with my parents, and even though they have caused me a lot of pain, I still love my mother, and part of me wanted to see her again. So, foolishly, I accepted the invitation and made plans to meet up with her and my father. The entire encounter was extremely awkward. My father barely said anything to me, while my mother kept acting like the past 2 years did not happen. It was really odd, and since she was the one who contacted me, I was expecting her to apologize, but she did not want to bring it up or talk about what happened. It really hurt, and I was fighting back tears the entire time. After the meetup, she hugged me and we parted ways. I kept in contact with them. Yesterday, I visited her again, and that is when she brought up the family reunion. She said our distant family will be flying here for a family get-together she is planning. This made me extremely uncomfortable because these people said some really disturbing things about me after I was outed, things I would rather not talk about. I told my mother I do not want to be around them and that I still do not forgive her for what she did. I also reminded her that she has yet to apologize to me. This made her angry. She said that I need to forget about what happened and forgive them for their ignorance because they are my family. I told her that I will not be attending the reunion, and until she properly apologizes to me, I will not be talking to her anymore. I thought that I was not the asshole, but my father and siblings are on my mother's side. They think I should let it go and forgive them without an apology. I went to my friends for reassurance, but they agree that I am being too harsh on them and said I should attend the reunion anyway because they are my family and family is important. I am really hurt right now and do not know what to think. TLDR. My parents kicked me out after I was outed as gay. I had to live with my friend for 2 years. My parents reached out to me wanting to reconnect, but did not apologize to me for what they did. My mother suddenly invited me to a family reunion that all my homophobic family members are going to attend and wants me to be there, but I declined. Now my family and friends are upset with me for not going to the reunion and think I am the asshole for not letting it go and forgiving them without an apology. Edit. Holy shit, I was not expecting to wake up with all these awards. Thank you all so much for your feedback and support. Your kindness means so much to me. I am sorry I have not been responding to messages. It is hard to keep up with all your replies. Reddit verdict. Not the asshole. Top comments. Comment. Not the asshole. None of them has a right to tell you to forgive them. They were not the victims. They were not the ones who had their families say horrible things to them. It seems the only reason they're reconnecting is to play happy family for the reunion. They do not want to have to explain they kicked you out as a minor or that they are not the perfect parents. Let them lie in the bed they made for themselves and do not think twice about it. Comment. Not the asshole. It seems like your parents are just trying to save face for the extended family by pretending everything is just fine, but by sacrificing you in the process. Do not attend the reunion. Or do attend with 10 very attractive boyfriends and go in completely fabulous fashion. Answer. It is obvious that the original poster's mother is only concerned about the optics of how it would look to the rest of the family if the original poster doesn't show up to the reunion. Now, the original poster could show up and proceed to tell everyone how his mother threw a 17-year-old minor child out of the house for the crime of being gay, and she then invited you to the family reunion only because she was concerned about the optics of how she would look to the rest of the family. Then mic drop and walk out. Comment. Not the asshole. Your mother wants forgiveness? She is more than old enough to understand that forgiveness is prompted by an apology. This is not rocket science. Most 6-year-olds have a better grasp of this concept. She is deep in denial and thinks it's okay to push everything under the rug after she disowned her own child, who she was previously close with. You do not deserve this, original poster. You deserve people who love you and respect you and do not abandon you over something you literally have zero control over. Respect is a two-way street, even between children and their parents. This is not about family. This is about control and appearances. I am so sorry all of this happened to you, original poster. They kicked you out of their life without a second thought. Return the favor and yeet them back into outer orbit. You owe these people exactly 2 things, jack and shit. Do not feel guilty if you decide not to go. Do what is best for you and your sanity. Comment. Not the asshole. They kicked you out because of their bigotry and never apologized, and now they just want to bury their horrific actions and move on. No, absolutely not. You need to walk away until they are willing to act like adults. Also, do not go to this party to hang out with a group of people who treated you like shit simply out of an obligation formed by sharing some DNA.
What do you think about this situation? Who do you think is a jerk, and who did the right thing? Share your thoughts in the comments and subscribe to the Sneaky Pigeon channel to get more cool and interesting stories. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.